Holy shit, it's gonna be 6 AM by the time I finish this. Oh, it'll be fun. Alright, 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 let's go. So, spawning as the blue player on the northern side of the map. As Norse, we've got Carnage, and spawning as the red Greek player on the bottom side of the map. We've got Greeky. Interesting little hold up there. So, what's going on today, boys? Who's gonna go and win the Age 1 fight? And then who's gonna win Age 2 fight? And then who's pretty much gonna win the game? Nah, I'm just kidding. It's not over that fast. It can be, if one of them makes a mistake, or if one of them is just super slick. But I have faith these guys can push it all the way to Age 3 or Age 4 in a fight to the death. So Greeky actually opening with a double storehouse opening. A little bit more of a conservative play than last game, but Carnage going for storehouse racks. So already there's a bit of a difference here. Greeky intercepting a couple of these sheep, and if you guys have never played the beautiful map that is Ghost Lake, in the center spawn there's always this Ghost Lake, and on it there are sheep that are freezing their little nuts off over the frozen Ghost Lake. I just like saying that over and over again. Ghost Lake. Anyway, there's these 3 packets of sheep. Three packs of sheep instead of 2 packs. And basically that's an extra 100 food, so if you don't gather that, you're being a silly bugger. So right now we see Greeky, he's just hoarding all these sheep, but Carnage is also hoarding all these sheep. They just love the sheep, bro. So Greeky trying to do the greedy play himself this time. Carnage looking to do the more aggressive opening. Bit of an inverse of last game really, because last game, if you were watching, Greeky tried to spear push against Carnage's second TC first opening, and it looks as though the opposite is probably going to happen here. Carnage is continuing to get more spearmen, or is he? Yeah, he is. So he's going to raid with 2 spears. In terms of vision, Greeky knows all about this barracks. Carnage probably has a good idea that Greeky hasn't got one. I wasn't actually paying 100% attention to that. I was sort of just talking shit. And I'm sorry about talking shit, but that's what a personal streamcast is like. Anyways, Greeky is going to have to try and micro these images out of here, pulling back one at a time. Really smart stuff. Trying to get that every last little bit of food he can straight onto these sheep, but he's actually going to be able to throw down the second town center now. Carnage is really just forcing him off the storehouse for the time being. So he is going to have to go and bury his Greeky, but he's got really nice stacked town centers. He's got a couple of sheep here, so Carnage is going to find it hard to get a lot more value out of this straight away. Unless you can wrap around onto the wood line. He's double checking to make sure Greeky hasn't thrown up a storehouse and gone with a single or a double villager saturation of this. Just, you know, just like splitting his villagers up across 2. Because it is slightly more optimal to do gathering wise. And then it's not as much of a pain in the ass going, oh shit, the only hunt that I'm on has just run out. You know, you only have half the number of villagers or a third of the number. But yeah, you've got to actually have the contesting, and Carnage is obviously not going to let him get that for free. Playing this really quite smart, quite control oriented. Greeky, 18 villagers, 17 to Carnage. Carnage working in his handsaw quickly. He hasn't actually got his TC just yet. In fact, he's quite low on the stone for it. But he is moving across with a lot of spears. And he's already working with throwing axemen. He wants to try and get a bit of harass here. So he can do. Greeky is forced to have to try and retreat off this wood line, and he's got a lot of villagers here. So he's going to have to try and juggle these, take the low one out, put the full health one back in, until he can work in a range, which he is doing right now. It's some nice harass from Carnage. These throwing axemen, they don't deal a lot of damage at all. It's only 6.5, but they do have that nice double dip multiplier against the ranged and the infantry. And Greeky is sort of forced off from being able to gather optimally off these storehouses. Having to throw up a barracks as well, because if there is too many throwing axemen, all the Norse player really needs to do is add in a couple of raiders, and the Toxoid is just going to get overrun. But Greeky is going to have to try and force this up with a lot of villagers. In fact, Carnage is going to be able to snipe it, I think. So Carnage is going to delay this barracks completely. And it was... Oh, Greeky is going to save it. No! Damn, so Greeky does get the barracks up at only 300 health. Carnage has got him down to... Oh, Carnage is only down to 25 villagers. Greeky, obviously, with that second town centre opening, able to make a lot of use of that early greed, but Carnage should be able to catch up on the worker count somewhat, because, you know, 5 villagers difference when it's 27 to 32 is obviously a lot bigger than when it's 75 to 80. So right now Greeky is going to have to try and defend this barracks, but I think Carnage is going to have to hold off for a little bit till he can get the raiders, which he is doing, of course. There's a longhouse here for the Norse player. There'll be lots of raiders, lots of throwing axemen, I think. The Carnage already sending around a pair of raiders because he wants to try and snipe something, and Greeky at this point in time is adding more barracks. I think that might have been another barracks, so he wants to go really heavy on the hypospis, but he's going to need to get a small number of spears as well, which he has got left over from that early little tussle. And so Greeky just going to try and keep an eye on everything over here. Carnage just pulling back with the raiders, not wanting to do anything with that just yet, but this single spearman down here has actually dealt a little bit of damage, really, because he's held up that storehouse. It's a shame Carnage didn't pull him back here, because he could have denied it for a second time, but Greeky probably would have come and cleaned it up quite quickly too. Greeky is really improving, continuing to improve. He's a really, really solid player. And he needs to be a bit careful here, because Carnage has definitely got a big unit advantage, and oh, that's not so good for Greeky, because... I mean, that's not so good for Carnage, because Greeky able to pick off a couple of throwing axemen there, so... Sorry guys, I'm just a bit tired. Oh, that's a really, really nice raider count there from Carnage. Greeky still getting some eco upgrades. He's going to have to try and fight for his life now, because Carnage is really going to go heavy on those raiders. There's 2 stables, 2 barracks, and the armory now for the Norse. Right now the villager counts is 45 to 52, so Carnage actually slightly behind his opponent on the villager count. And those raiders unable to get a huge amount of value out yet, but they're just going to head across the other side of the map probably, because there's this big clump of more exposed Toxotes, not in behind any buildings, much easier to try and reach. The Carnage just rallying everything up for the time being, trying to just mass up a bit more, get his shield room upgrade kicking in. Actually make quite a bit of stone. I suppose for age 3 you can go for forts, towers, the town centre, more upgrades. So it's really worthwhile on Norse to do something like that, get a lot of stone. Get very stoned, bro. Scale Mail queued up next instantly. And Greeky. I did see. Yeah, so Barbed Arrows is going to kick in as well for Greeky. So both players with a nice armory bonus at the moment. It looks as though Carnage has got that many raiders, he can really mop up a lot here. He's going to deny. Oh, he's going to kill a couple of villagers here. No, Greeky says he will not kill a couple of villagers, Sean. And the one raider does end up making it out. So there is a lot of raiders here for Carnage, but he needs to get these guys out of here because Greeky is going to continue to chase them. Village accounts right now, we've got 57 to 67, so Carnage is actually falling behind Greeky on village account. I'm not sure how, because there's no market for either player. Carnage is just not queuing up villages as much as he should be. What are you doing, Carnage? So populations, small difference. Sorry about the yawning. Big number of raiders though, they are only a 1 pop unit too, so they are quite a disposable cavalry compared to the other Civs cavalry options at only 75 resources, so it's really easy to try and get up on a big mass of them. Even though they're very weak 1-to-1 with other cavalry, you can mass them up a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, and yeah, really force your opponent to have to be on their toes. Man, imagine if Lancers were 1 pop. They're 2, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they're 2. But Greeky able to really deflect Carnage's pushes here with these Lancers. He's not able to, I mean, with these Raiders, he's not been able to get a great deal of value out of them so far. But this could be a very, very good catch. In fact, oh, Carnage actually goes, oh, he's got a bit too many spearmen, so if I fuck this up, I'm going to throw away a lot of raiders. In fact, he's going to let Greeky advance in here, because if he's got the throwing axemen in the mix, he can really chip away at the spearmen, force Greeky to not have too many spearmen attacking the throwing axemen. And here we go, Carnage is going to come in again, take a little bit of damage, with Greeky doing a good job at stacking up his units together here. Carnage is going to go for a nice tri-split push here. Greeky is going to do his best to try and keep these bowmen these Toxotes right in the center of his army. But Carnage has just got such a nice split of his units here. He's managed to, very nice concave there, he's managed to really whittle down the spear count. Still got plenty of raiders, but he has lost a lot of them. He's down to only 8 raiders. Greeky's actually still maxed at them at this point in time. Carnage taking age 3 behind this though. Greeky already got his age 3. Oh. Press F for that dead throwing axeman. These dead throwing axemen. Press F for them too. Maybe not. Maybe they'll get a couple of kills here. Okay, maybe not. Carnage does lose those guys there. And the tri-split army and that big concave there from the throwing axeman, not enough to actually down Greeky's army at this point, and he is actually in age up, a little bit up in terms of population, 69 to 84 villages at the moment, so Carnage is actually a little bit behind Greeky at the moment. Carnage really desperate to get some more wood as well. Got a lot of idle villagers here. And Greeky, what the hell? What the fuck, man? How many watch posts do you need? Is that the answer? Is that the secret to being good? To being Gosu? Someone tell me, because I need to know. Tools of Wayland. Well, the Hood of Wayland's the most useless item in the game. So what's Tools of Wayland like? Is that like the fucking healing one? Or, like the health one or something? I don't know. But like Yeah, the Hoodle Wayland. Oh, absolutely useless. Actually makes me cry when I get it. I cry every time. So right now we're having a bit of a gander. Greeky getting his H3 upgrades for his archers. Carnage getting his H3 defensive upgrade against the archer units. So there's a lot of Toxotes here. In fact, it's 50-50 split between archers and spearmen at the moment, and only a handful of prodromos as well. So the objective of these boys is to try and force Carnage to have to get out horsemen or something, because then he hasn't got cavalry that's as equipped to really tackle the Toxotes. Because that's really what the Norse player is going to need to do in this matchup, is kill these buggers and avoid being killed by these buggers with his cavalry, and vice versa with his throwing axemen. Right now Greeky, obviously he needs to try and get these buggers onto the raiders and get these buggers onto the throwing axemen. It's amazing how that works, isn't it? Pure genius. So right now, got some upgrades. About to kick in Eco once for Carnage and his Shield Truss. Greeky actually getting Shield Truss against Norse, which is a little bit interesting because the only thing that's going to help him with is if the Carnage transitions to Bowman, because there really is not much in the Norse arsenal that makes use of that damage. But right now Carnage might try this again at 20 more population a little bit later in the game, but there are Prodromos in the mix, so if Greeky does manage to really stack his death ball up here properly and keep the Toxotes safe, he can really get out of this, I think. But Carnage has so many clumps of throwing axemen just targeting things like mad, and there's not a lot of raiders actually. They've all been pretty much thinned out. The spearmen and the Prodromos really doing their job here, and Carnage once again dipping on score by quite a significant amount here. He's down by about 60 population. Wow, that was a really decisive fight there from Greeky. Really nice job. Greeky walling the shit out of his base at the moment, and Carnage super exposed in his at the moment. So things are really drastic at the moment. Down to 17 food gatherers with bugger all food in the bank, and he's going to get a lot of these workers picked off as well. Carnage isn't going to want to try and take a fight at the moment, but there's no raiding potential except for maybe through here. Greeky is going to snipe another bunch of villagers off Carnage's. There's plenty of gold in the bank, but he has no gold gatherers at the moment. He's needing to resort to getting some bowmen out. And Greeky already has a really nice market line set up. Age 4 on the way. Looks to be in a really healthy shape. Carnage, not so much. There's plenty of food gatherers, but I think just about all of them are actually on farms. So it's quite a hefty investment to get, 14 farms right there. Greeky actually on 17, but he's, like I said, had the higher villager count, has got the market down, so he's in a bit of a healthier position to be able to do that, and he's taken some really nice trades so far. Carnage forced to have to go onto horsemen, who are quite a fair bit slower than the Prodromos at the moment with the upgrades they've got on. There's about a 2.5 speed difference. It's quite significant really, makes it quite easy to actually get away. No snare on the attack is really going to matter. But right now these horsemen are still able to get some nice shots on these slower Toxotes. And Greeky is now having to retreat back for the first time in a little while. Kind of just bounce back a bit on score. Actually just going to resign on them. And Greeky retreating back behind the walls, which is nice to do. It means that the cavalry is really restricted in what they can actually attack here. And Greeky having lured Carnage close enough that he can try and harass all the throwing axemen, all the bowmen, from over the wall. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword as well because his units are going to bunch up as they try and come out of here. So Carnage gets these nice little concaves as the units pop out from behind the wall. So right now Greeky not much of a front line, but neither is Carnage at the moment. So populations are actually favouring Greeky. Those shots seeming to fly off into the sky. I'm not sure if they actually apply. But Carnage once again really repelled here. Greeky able to continue to push out slowly. Argyle's coming in for Carnage, so they're going to be a bit tankier. A bit more pierce armor. They're an anti-infantry unit, but they've got an awful lot of pierce armor. So they are going to play a similar role to, say, the hoplites in the Greek composition right now. And Greeky's already managed to work in Hippocons at the moment, which is nice. They're an expensive choice, but once he gets the Hippocon champion out, they end up being a really nice frontline tank cavalry. They don't have any multipliers, but that just makes them sort of a good late game unit against anything. And there are some Gastras included in the mix now too, so this is going to make it hard for the Norse player. I wonder if we're going to get to see Ulfs from Carnage here. I really want to see him. Oh, there's a lot of bowmen for Carnage. He's got 50 bowmen. And he's getting a lot of big hits off here with this huge bowman war. But it's already down to about 35, so he needs to be careful to not lose too much of this. Greeky, likewise, has lost a lot of Toxotes for this, but he's followed up with the Ballista, which is actually really smart. And GG. Oh, that was a bit of a battle. So Greeky out gathering Carnage. Final villager count, we got 70 to 88. So he seemed to just get that little bit of a village lead and yeah, sorry, we're just sort of talking about why that game was starting to lag up a little bit. Carnage. Just kidding. That was well fought.